The jury has spoken.
We, the jury in the above entitled case, find the defendant, Chad DeSoto, guilty.
In total, DeSoto faces at maximum 14 life sentences for the aggravated murder of 3 Japanese tourists and the attempted aggravated murder of 11 others. DeSoto maintained a not guilty by reason of insanity plea for his rampage through Tumon last year, where he drove his car down a crowded sidewalk before crashing into the ABC store, darting out of his car and stabbing people at random. Among the over 50 witnesses called to testify were 3 psychiatrists as expert witnesses. Although their overall conclusions of DeSoto varied, all diagnosed the defendant with a mental illness. Specifically, 2 of the 3 expert witnesses found the defendant not legally responsible for his acts. Today, however, before DeSoto's mother, father, girlfriend, and a packed courtroom, jurors returned a verdict holding DeSoto responsible for the crime. Later this afternoon, Chief Deputy AG Phil Tydenko thanked jurors for their work as they reviewed over 100 exhibits and sat through a lengthy, high-profile murder trial. He also commended the victims and witnesses themselves. After all, it was their storytelling that brought the crime scene back to life.
We thank them for their service. It was a lot of evidence for them to go through. But most importantly, I do want to thank the witnesses and the victims who did testify in this case. In many ways, it re-traumatized even the witnesses who were eyewitnesses to these crimes. And so I want to thank them for their courage to relive this nightmare in court. But it was vitally important, and I hope, and we all hope, that it brings them a little closure to this terrible tragedy that this defendant committed upon them.
But it's not over for the victims and witnesses, as Tydenko says that law allows them to participate in DeSoto's sentencing hearing slated for next month. They can testify the day of the sentencing, they must submit a victim's impact statement, and they can also Skype in testimony. Looking ahead, Attorney General Leonardo Rapada says this case brings to light the need to address long-term mental health care locally. Had jurors returned a not guilty by reason of insanity verdict, it's unclear where DeSoto could be treated here on Guam.
Guam is a little different in that sense, where we really don't have facilities like that, long-term facilities. So this is something that I think possibly the legislature and the administration should look at down the road.
We should note the law allows DeSoto to file an appeal with the Supreme Court. Although Assistant Public Defender Jocelyn Roden wouldn't disclose whether they'd pursue an appeal, she provided media with only a brief comment following the reading of the verdict.
I am just thankful that the jurors hung in there and they made a thorough deliberation, and I still have my faith in the justice system.
Sentencing is set for September 25th. We should note, although the verdict has been handed down, DeSoto, his cousin Michelle Fadovich, and his girlfriend Rayana Cosio face contempt of court charges. As we previously reported, Paytel records show that DeSoto spoke with the 2 women via telephone, despite being told by the court not to because both were called to the stand to testify in the trial. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.